The Owatonna City Council meeting for September 17th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Svenby.
Here.
Trilson.
Here.
Dodson.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
Here.
We have all 7 of the council and the mayor present.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, I would like to welcome everyone here for our last meeting before the fall hits us and the nice cold weather. So we do have some additions to the agenda. Let's see, 3.4, 4.5, 4.6, and 4.7, which are items for sanitary sewer, set date for public hearing for utility liens, declare costs, order preparation for proposed assessments, etc. With those additions,
Motion to approve as noted.
we have a motion by Brent to approve as noted. We have a second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved. Now we'll move on to our mayor. We have a recommendation for a position on economic development.
Thanks, Les. We have a vacancy on the Economic Development Committee, and Jerry Karstensen has agreed to fill that term, so I'm asking the council to make a recommendation and a motion to appoint Jerry Karstensen to the Economic Development Authority, and I'd also like in that same motion Don Boutel for reappointment.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that as a request for motion, what is the council's wishes?
Second.
Nate. Motion by Nate, second by Brent Svenby. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Congratulations.
Jerry, if I can get you up here, and we'll do the oath of office.
Okay.
And again, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jerry Karstensen, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of
the
Minnesota,
laws of the City of Owatonna,
the laws of the City of Owatonna,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of the Office of Economic Development Authority
of the Office of Economic Development Authority
of the City of Owatonna, to which I have been appointed,
of the City of Owatonna, to which I have been appointed,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
Jerry, thank you.
Okay.
It's always a privilege to appoint another 1963 classmate to a committee, so thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Tom.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's you don't have anything else, right?
Yes, I do. One more thing.
One more, okay.
One more thing. And Tim was not able to be here. He is opening a new store in North Dakota, but the outgoing person, City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Tim Siga for 2 years of service on the Economic Development Authority, and we will make sure this gets mailed to him.
Thank you. And congratulations, Jerry, and good luck with the position. With that, we'll move on to financial report, and I'll do a quick recap of the financial report. Initially, $44,268 for Henry G. Meigs Road Oil, $62,728 for League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust for quarterly workers' comp premium, $20,175 for MCF Lino Lakes for Department of Correction workers, $28,000 for Owatonna Heating and Cooling for HVAC controls upgrade at the library, $20,480 for Steele County Sheriff's the Drug Enforcement Unit. And then we move on to $121,356 for Southeast Service Cooperative with September 2013 health insurance premiums, and $218,376 for other expenditures for a total of $515,384. What is the council's wishes?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve the financial report and bills. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved. Now we move on to the consent agenda items, which are meeting minutes, exempt permit requests, board minutes, department reports, event permits, etc., all grouped into one motion. What is the council's wishes?
I'll move we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Raymond Toolson to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. And now we will move on to action items 3.1.1, on sale with Sunday sale liquor license application for Agruva Azul, 369 18th Street Southeast. And that will go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. Mr. Angel Lopez has plans to reopen the Mexican restaurant in November. He has provided us the necessary application, insurance, and all the appropriate license fees. The license will be effective from November until June of 2014. They plan to open for business on the 1st, and fees totaling $2,300 were collected, which reflect the 8 months for the license fee. And Mr. Lopez is here if you have any questions for him, but staff would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
I'll move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Congratulations and good luck with it.
Good luck. November 1st? You said it was November 1st?
November 1st.
Okay.
Okay, we move on to 3.2.1 labor agreement, Teamsters Local 320 Patrol Officers Contract. And this will go to Chris again.
Thank you, Les. What we're asking for, and I know your agenda reflects something different, we are just asking for authorization for the back pay. We've received the arbitration award effective in this manner, and we are putting together the contract. It's not finalized or signed yet, but we have been directed by the arbitrator to authorize the back pay, and so that's what we're asking for here. This is consistent with what the city has offered and awarded to other existing union agreements, so staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to 3.3.1 preliminary plat Emerald Acres, and we'll go to Troy.
This is a request from Greg and Judy Horica to replat 3 single-family lots into 4 townhome lots on 22nd Street Southeast, just east of Austin Road. There is also a rezoning that'll come up later in the agenda relative to this, from rezoning it from R1 single-family to R4 townhome district. There are unpaid or outstanding assessments on the property in the amount of about $6,000 that'll need to be paid as part of filing the plat. This will be a separate association than the townhomes that are just to the south on Ashley Lane. It'll be the same developer, same style of townhome, but it will be a separate association. We did have a public hearing at Planning Commission. We had no objection from the neighbors. There was some discussion over a fence along the south side there. They had indicated possibly doing an 8-foot high fence. Our ordinance requires 7 feet. I think they're agreeable to 7 feet. If they want to go higher than that, that'll be a separate variance request.
Okay.
So staff would recommend approval of the preliminary plat as recommended by Planning Commission.
Thank you. Raymond?
Is there any plans, Troy, how soon they would build on those lots, or does he have any plans for that at all?
They would get the plat filed by the end of the year. They're probably looking at spring construction.
Doing all in one?
I don't know that they would do all of them at
just
once.
One at a time, maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. And moving on to resolutions 3.4.1, resolution 8413, legacy grant application for North Straight River Trail, and this will go to Corky.
Thanks, Les. This would be similar to the last resolution that you passed the last time that they put in, the Park and Rec Department put in for a grant. What we've taken out of this grant, though, is the bridges, as you're aware, have been installed with the foundation money. And then we've made adjustments to the cost due to the rise of asphalt cost and different materials and things, as well as eliminating all in-kind services. And so it's a turnkey project from start to finish with no city labor planned at this amount of money. So the resolution would be sent up with the application, and this resolution is, like I say, similar to the last one that you guys approved. I forget which last year that you did that. So Kyle and I looked over the asphalt part of it today, and he's comfortable with the figures we put together on this. We did not go to any consultant or any architect on this. We used old figures and figured in inflation costs in there as well. And also, there's no matching money now. That was changed last year by the legislature. So Metro was always allowed to apply for the grants with no match, and now the Greater Minnesota Trails Association has lobbied and succeeded in getting that there is no match funds now for outstate Metro as well. And so that is what's in front of you. You're all familiar with the area from North Street to 26th Street. You've seen the plan. I'm sure in previous years many times, but it's basically the same map that you've seen all along. It's doing the asphalt from North Street and going up to 26th Street. And so that is the plan.
Do we have a plan in place for maintenance as far as adding more trails in the system, or do we have any issues with maintenance?
At this point, we have not added anything to the plan. It'll have to be adjusted as we move forward with that. Just as your budgets are put in front of you every year, I'm sure there'd have to be some give and take in other areas at some time down the line when maintenance is needed. They're fairly low maintenance for the most part. The big cost comes into play, of course, when you need to overlay the trails and those kind of things. As far as keeping the trails clear and trimmed up and cleaned up and all that kind of thing is handled primarily through seasonal help and part-time help, and so the cost is fairly minor to that place, but they can't say there's not any cost to it at the same time. So, adjustments would have to be made to it. We're maintaining, whether you want to call it a rock, a dirt, or a wood chip trail as it sits there today, and that is what we're maintaining today down there now. We have the interpretive loop that is wood chipped. That's off the trail. That we have completed, and it's been grubbed out. And so I don't have, there's all kinds, I'm sure, national standards, state standards that I can throw in front of you as far as costs go, per mile, per trail, and those kind of things. We really don't follow that. That's the best of all worlds. Just as Kyle's talking about his streets getting seal coated and overlaid and all those kind of things, that's the ideal world. We just try to do our best and try to operate within the budget we have, and when that time comes along, it would need to be discussion on when that does come forward. Through our CIP, we do try to budget some overlays of trails every year through our entire system. We did a little bit last year, but we took it out the last year, and this year we've taken it out. But we do try to budget in about $20,000 a year in trail overlays. Or we have, and we'll probably try to continue to do when money permits it and our budget permits it. We have a couple higher priorities at this point right now.
Is that the grant last year was turned down? How many have we submitted one time for it and was turned down?
The last time it was submitted would have been in 2010, I believe, yeah. 2010, and we were told at that time that we were really close, whether we were the next person or the next group or whatever, I'm not sure. There's all kinds of those rumors out there, but we're ranked very high. And talking to the people on the committee, and as well as talking to other communities around here, they've all heard the same thing. The real significance in this trail, of course, will be down the line someday when the Wildflower Trail does continue to Faribault, Minnesota from 26th Street and the UP gets abandoned. That would be the real regional effect for this trail. At this point, there's a rail authority being put together between Rice and Steele County, and the city of Medford is heavily involved in establishing that rail authority. And so when that track does become abandoned, that we have the first right to accept that. And once that gets done and it gets into that regional trail, the building of that, I see it falling upon the Steele and Rice County and the city of Medford, maybe to a certain point. And at that point, you'll get into all other kind of grants. Besides the legacy grants, you'll get into federal transportation grants, DNR grants. There'll be a whole host of grants that we'll be able to apply for together when that happens. But as for the city of Owatonna, the significance regionally to us is to move, it finishes up our trail system from one end of the city to the other city, connects up to 26th Street, and then continues the loop.
Was that grant a matching grant the last time, or was that 100%, you know?
I don't know what the exact match was. If it was, we had in-kind service in there, we had the foundation money in there for the bridges, and so I think it was a matching grant the last time.
They were using the foundation as
the foundation money and our in-kind services, and we've taken the in-kind services out of this proposal, as well as of course the bridges have been completed, and so it is a turnkey project. In the grant, it also calls for lighting of the grant. It calls for some picnic tables, and it calls for some campsites and those kind of things that are in there. A lot of times what happens with these grants that you won't get the entire amount as well. The part that we're really looking for, of course, is the asphalting part of it. That's the part we're really getting a lot of requests on trying to complete, is the asphalt part of it. And so if we got 300,000 of it, we'd get the asphalt part of it done. We'd put conduit underneath the trail, so if lighting ever did come along with a further project, we wouldn't have to cut the trail. That was the big push of putting lights in it. It's nice to have, but the most important thing is getting it asphalted right now at this point.
Okay. Any other questions?
Kirk, when is this? When will we know about this?
The application deadline is October 25th, and so I'm not sure when they decide that after that, but I think you would find out, I guess, right around the first part of the year, right after the first part of the year, we'd find out that. We put a completion date of June of 2015 on it, is what we've put down for a completion date on that. And this also includes the final grading, it includes the seeding, it includes everything we would take it over completed. So that's what the grant has in it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? Tom?
Just make a comment. It's going to be very nice to have a hard surface trail from our southern border to our northern border, so hopefully that will be successful with this.
Yes, it gets used heavily now, but it would really get used a lot more. Then it would be more conveniently being used if the bikers and, of course, the rollerbladers and skateboarders can't use it at all, probably, unless you're really good at it. Maybe the mountain bikers, I don't know.
Kevin?
From a cost standpoint, Corky, is it more cost effective in regards to maintenance and repair with what we've got now or with the asphalt?
Well, now, it's just like a gravel road to an asphalt road. There's maybe a little more routine maintenance of grading it and keeping it level, but it's fairly hard and can be rolled. It's, the asphalt cost of it, of course, is always the big cost is always the overlaying of it and keeping it, passable. But again, it's limited in use by not being asphalt would be the big thing.
Raymond?
Do we have all wood chips, or do we have some crushed concrete? Or?
We have some crushed asphalt concrete, some scrap material that's come along that we've spread along in the low areas. There's a few spots that have a little bit of wood chips in them that were a real low spot, but 99% of it is just a dirt, gravel, crushed rock, concrete type.
My twin brother was out there one day with Tim, and he said that's the most beautiful part of Owatonna. He said,
Oh, it's very beautiful, yeah.
You know, and he's been out a lot, but he's made that comment.
Yeah,
That happened to be the most beautiful part of Owatonna.
Yeah, the wood chip part of it, again, is the interpretive loop. It's a loop going off the trail. That's wood chipped, but the rest of it is not. Like I say, maybe a few in a few locations.
That wood chip part wouldn't be,
That'll remain interpretive loops, we call them. It'll remain a hiking area only.
okay.
Yeah,
Dave,
Corky, what will be the width of the trail?
10 foot.
Is that what the other trails are
Yes.
currently?
Yeah.
Because I know bikers and bladers, there's more and more every year. And
Right. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if you get calls on any difficulty down there with.
No, like occasionally we do. You know, we try to educate the best we can on, you know, staying to the right and calling out in front when you're coming up a walker. You know, especially for the ones that are wearing the music headphones or whatever on you. You want to try to go around them slowly or try to notify them, you know, without being real loud.
okay. Raymond,
Would there be enough width if he did blacktop as there drop-offs where, you know, the bikers would want to someday add that biking path like they're doing at Kaplan's Wood? Would there be enough room to add
Well,
that?
it's graded out probably to about, I don't know if it's 20 feet, but probably a good 15 feet in most places. It's graded out to now, kind of as you're familiar with going along Kaplan's Woods there, it's graded out to have a grass area on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't see the mountain bikers, for instance, using this. They want more rough terrain, so Kaplan's Woods is their area.
any other questions? We don't have a motion yet.
It's a resolution.
Chair will look for, Paul.
In the public comment during this period, Les?
Normally we don't, but I'll let you comment if you want to come in.
Paul Swenson from South Street. And I want to state I'm not against the trail. Some people have taken that's where I'm coming from, and I'm not against it. I am concerned about expanding things that we have to maintain because I look at how we maintain what we have, which we do a pretty fair job, but we don't do necessarily a top-notch job. Corky just told you himself, he's taken overlays on the existing trail system out of the budget for the last 2 years.
This year and next year.
Okay, for this year and next year. Getting this grant requires that you maintain this trail for 20 years. What's the cost of that?
I don't have a national standard, but it's whatever you want to make it. It's like a mower or a truck. If you want to say it's 7 years.
Thank you, Corky. He doesn't know what it costs you to maintain it. He's asking you to commit to 20 years of maintenance. And I think we've got a lot to maintain right now. And I think we need to take this into consideration before we go expanding. I mean, our softball diamonds are to the point where we need to hang advertising signs on the side of them to help fund those. So we're not affording it, and he's saying that he's not maintaining things to standards, and he doesn't know what the cost is. Kyle, what will the cost getting water, drinking water out on that trail length be? So that isn't, you don't know?
It's not something we've looked at.
Have you read the grant application? It says you've got to provide drinking water. So what's it going to cost? That's my concern. I'm not against the trail. The taxpayers in this city said no to the trail in the sales tax issue. With the encouragement of the foundation, and I appreciate it, we got bridges, we've grubbed out a trail. How much have we spent on that trail, that length, that non-contributed dollars of just city labor and materials so far? Does anybody have an idea what we've spent already on that trail?
No, without research, no.
From day one, you're saying?
Well, just in general, since we opened it up, because I think the impression is that the foundation is paid for what's there. But I think we've probably spent a couple $100,000 of taxpayer money, approaching that at least, in grubbing out the trail, putting this crushed stuff down. And again, I'm not against it, but when we go to this step of having a trail down there, and there's no point in putting a trail down there that you're not going to put lights by, Who would send their kids down there on the trail without lights? Well, I agree, but I think if you read the grant application carefully, there are some stipulations as to what's supposed to, the amenities provided at this trail. I know one of them is water, perhaps one of them is lights. I can't quote you right now. But here we are. We don't know what it's going to cost to maintain. We don't know what it costs to put water out there, and I know that's in the requirements. And the legacy money will be available in the future when we're ready and when our community can afford to pay for maintaining what you're expanding. And in the meantime, the sign that you're ready to take that next step would be when you're maintaining what you have properly already. Then you can move forward with more. Thanks for letting me comment.
Thank you. Any comments from the council?
Are there any requirements in that grant that we wouldn't satisfy or that we don't plan on satisfying at this point?
The trails we have today, there's been DNR people down here, and we've been on our trails, and I've not asked that specific question if it's meeting their standards, but I'd be surprised that it's not, seeing other trails. The water part, I can surely check into that and see if there's any mandated requirement on something like that and what type of mileage is put on something like that. That's news to me that it would be required on that length of a trail if we were talking 5-6 miles, maybe something like that. All of our trails, the drinking fountains on our trails have all come through contributions is when we've put those in. There's only a couple in the parks that I can remember in 30-some years that we've put in ourselves. So I could check into that. The resolution is to apply for the grant. If there's further questions, I can look into more details of that. You can always turn the grant down if it was offered to you at that time, if there's more, but I can surely check into those kind of requirements and get them down there when we get more seriously into this process and find out from other people that have gotten those grants. But to my opinion, I would say that the way we're maintaining would be acceptable today to any type of grant that we'd be getting from them, but I can surely check into those things. But I would just ask, the park board also approved this for this to move forward to you. You've got the previous months, and we just had our meeting here last Monday night, and so they approved presenting this to you as well. And like I say, this is a resolution to apply for the grant. And as I'll get these questions, I can get you more answers questions answered if you wish. Just get those to me and then I can forward them on. But tonight's asking for a resolution to permit permission to move forward with applying for the grant.
Okay, thank you. Raymond.
Is that a half mile each side? What are we talking on?
1.7 miles.
Total, or is that on
both total? Sides? The total trail.
1.7 miles.
1.75.
Okay. What is the council's wishes?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 84-13.
Well, motion by Dave Burbank to approve the resolution. Do we have a second to that? Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion?
I'll approve it, but I think, if we could get a couple of those questions answered when the time comes, would be great.
Yeah, I think the ones tonight, if you think of others, get a hold of Chris or Sue, shoot me an email and I'll find those out.
OPU probably can get your water one real fast. OPU probably could give you a water bid real fast.
Just one thing, if I could comment. The advertising signage on the softball diamonds, that goes to youth activities within the community. It's
doesn't pay for maintenance.
That's not a maintenance. That goes to help OIFSA, youth baseball, youth football. So that's where that money is used.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved to go ahead and apply for the grant. Thank you. That will move on to Resolution 85-13, petition for improvement to retaining wall at 304 Lamond Road. And there we'll go to Kyle.
Good evening. I'm sure several of you have noticed that the retaining wall at 304 Lamond Road has been taken down. It was in danger of failing, so the city crew took several of the top rows off so that it didn't tip over into the street. City policy is on replacement of a retaining wall is 50% property owner and 50% city. I've worked with the property owner, and they have requested that the work be done and that their 50% of the work be assessed. And the quote from Oakview Nursery was $5,540. That would be taking the wall down and rebuilding it properly using the block that's already there. So we'd reuse the block. It's in good shape generally, so the attached request from the owner, and then also permission for a temporary easement to construct the wall. The wall's on the property line, and we'll have to enter her property to work on it. So staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Kyle. Questions from Raymond?
I think the last time doing a few, I think it was probably installed wrong the last time. Didn't go into the hill with the back, the grommets that hold the block, and that's why it collapsed, and I'll move approval of that.
Okay, we have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Move on to 8613, bids for 2013 sanitary sewer lining project. And again, Kyle.
Good evening. We received bids on September 11th for the 2013 sanitary sewer lining project. We received two bids. The low bidder was Vizia Sewer of Pewaukee, Wisconsin, for $111,108.25. We had budgeted in the sanitary sewer fund $125,000 for this year. The engineer's estimate was $147,000. So we received good bids and recommend approval of or awarding the contract to Vizia Sewer.
Thank you. Raymond.
Got a question up above. You had Wisconsin bidder, and down below you the lowest bidder is Sewer of Owatonna, Minnesota. Is that a division of?
It appears there's an error.
Is that a division of them, or is that?
Well, we'll try and get them to come here, but I think that's a typo.
It is from Wisconsin. It's not from Owatonna, then?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Troy needs to get.
I didn't know which one. If there was maybe a division of their company when I read it, that's.
It's from Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it said Owatonna, Minnesota. I'll move we approve.
Okay, motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved now. Move on to 8713, bids for 2013 21st Avenue Sidewalk Project, and back to Kyle.
You'll remember we back in August had advertised for bids for the 21st Avenue Sidewalk Project. No bids were received because of the size of the dollars involved. We can go out for quotes. We requested quotes from 5 local contractors, and we received quotes from 3. The low quote being from Rocon Incorporated of Owatonna, Minnesota, and it was 26% over the engineer's estimate. There has been quite an increase in concrete prices this year. However, we've already notified the property owner of the pending assessments and don't expect the prices to come down next year. So in light of that, we do recommend approval of going forward with the project.
Thank you, Kyle. So what we saved on the last one we approved, we spent on some of this, right?
Yep.
Okay, what is the council's wishes?
Make a motion we approve.
Motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving on to 8813, 13, set a date for public hearing for utility liens, and that we go to Chris.
You may recall that last October, you adopted an ordinance amendment that allowed for the assessment process to be used for the purpose of collecting delinquent utility liens in the same manner as you do for mowing bills and the like. A resolution before you is to set a hearing date for that at the next meeting of the council. The clerk will send out the notices to the property owners, and it'll be published in the Owatonna People's Press. And I think that's really all there is to this. Yeah.
And you recommend approval?
Yes.
Thank you. With that, what is it, Raymond?
Mark, since we brought that up way back in October, has any of those people on that list been there to try to correct the problems they've had with that? Do you know if anybody's been there?
I actually got an updated list today from Joe down at OPU, and there was about 3 of them that have paid. Properties that had actually been in a foreclosure. They'd gotten a check from a bank that paid 3 or 4 of the delinquent accounts. But and he has an updated list. We do have a list that will go when we do have the public hearing, or actually when we send out the notices, we will have that list in there.
How many are on the list? Do you know how many were total on the list when we started? It don't matter. 15? 20? Okay, and so three people have been there and tried to work out the circumstances then, huh? Okay.
The list needed to be...
We've talked about it a long time ago, and it's been an issue, and they've known that. You know.
The list needed to be pared down a bit because pursuant to the statute, you can't assess a property owner if the bill has been incurred by the tenant. So I think we were still fine-tuning that list.
He actually gave me a list with 20 people on it today, and I'm going to review with Mark because I still believe that 3 of these are tenant-owner relationships, and I'm not sure that we'll be able to.
It's been on the table for a long time. That's why it's not been nothing new, is why I was wondering if anybody's tried to correct it.
What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Greg Schultz to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Raymond Trulson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving on to Resolution 89-13, declaring costs and order preparation of proposed assessments for the 2013 mowing of weeds, grasses, and other harmful vegetation. And there we'll go back to Chris.
Thank you, Les. The resolution before you will declare the cost to be assessed and order the assessments to be paid. We're asking you to set the date of hearing. Total assessment amount of $2,897.35. We'll reimburse the city for the cost of weed and nuisance enforcement. Staff recommends approval and setting the public hearing for October 15th.
Thank you, Chris. Questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to 3.4.7, Resolution 90-13, set the date for public hearing of the same issue. And with that,
Motion to approve.
we have a motion by Brent to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now moving on to ordinances 3.5.1, first reading of proposed ordinance 1713, Z324, R1 single family residential district to R4 town house district, and this will move to Troy.
Okay, this is the proposed rezoning from Greg and Judy Horica for Emerald Acres number 4. Again, it's going from 3 single-family lots to 4 townhome lots. The proposed rezoning is from R1 single-family to R4 townhome district. There is an existing R4 district for the townhomes directly to the south. It's up against the commercial district, so it's a good buffer spot from the single-family. So staff would recommend approval of this zone change request.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Chair will ask for roll call.
Councilmember Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Svenby.
Aye.
Turleson.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Abraham.
Aye.
All 7 ayes.
This has been approved for the first reading, and we will have the second reading at the next in October, right? And moving on to miscellaneous items, we got 3.7.1 2013 MDA pass for boot purchase fundraiser, and that will go to Chris.
Yes, thank you. The fire department would like to participate in the Fill the Boot drive with the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They would like to do this on September 25th through the 27th from 3 to 7 p.m. The firefighters will be off duty and volunteering their time. They will make collections curbside on Cedar Avenue, the east and the west side, and also in front of, and I know your map is slightly off, in front of the fire station on West Main Street in the parking lane. That is another area, that block, that they would like to conduct their fundraising activities. We've received approval from Steele County, who is the road authority on West Main Street. Area businesses have been notified and have approved our use of the parking lane there. We would not be restricting any parking on the Central Park area, however. All the funds will stay in the local community, and there's really no impact to the budget as the firefighters are volunteering their time, and staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
So move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to council public comments, and with that, anyone who would like to speak on an issue not on the agenda, please come forward and sign in at the podium.
Thank you, Les. Paul Swenson, 818 South Street. And as long as I was here, I thought I'd take advantage of the public comment, and I tell you that I long for the day when I don't have to stand here and talk about cable TV. I've been here before. The reason I think it's important is I think it's critical that this town have a hardwired communication system in place that people can subscribe to at a reasonable cost. I think it's good for our community. It's good for the cohesiveness of the community. But I have to tell you, I've been a close observer. And I know that a year ago you heard it loud and clear from the public. They wanted competition. I know you've given that charge to staff. But I've reviewed the timeline. I missed your study session, but I have reviewed the timelines on things. And I have to say that the actions tell me, as a taxpayer, there is very little interest in having competition. Here we are, the agreement is expiring, and to my knowledge we have no formal bids on or actual formal filings that say we want to come to your town and do business. And I think that's due to our lack of action by the people that are in charge of doing this. So again, I hope we can see some competition in the future. Every day that goes by and another satellite dish goes up is one more home in this community that's not going to be part of that network. So it's important to get that competition in place and get people back online. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Chris.
Yes. Let me just give you an update on where we're at with the franchise. As you know, it has expired, and our attorney, Bob Vos, has been in discussions with their attorney at Charter, and we are not as far apart as it would initially seem, but we are scheduling another meeting next week to try and resolve some of those issues. In regards to Jaguar, the franchise has expired, so we have not received any legal challenge or anything from Charter about that, so that opens the door for us in our negotiations with Jaguar. I have since talked to the CFO from Jaguar, and we are scheduling a meeting for the first part of October to talk about a franchise here in the city. So we're moving forward.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to council comments, and we start with Dave Burbank.
All's quiet in Ward 3.
Thank you. Kevin?
I have nothing tonight.
Brent?
I have nothing this evening.
Raymond?
Just a reminder, this Saturday, September 21st, is clean up a straight river. It's been going on for about 5 years, and I know a couple of the other members have worked. I've been there to help register people, but this year, with Matt Duran leaving, there's but there's going to be a lot of good people. There's going to be about 100 there. We get a chance at Morehouse Park, 9 till noon on Saturday. Clean up the river every year and clean up the river every year, and every year they have tons of stuff. Where it comes from, I don't know, and they provide a lunch for the people, and I estimate we'll have 100 people there this Saturday, so sounds like it. So if you can add a minute or two, stop down at Morehouse Park and into Chalet there, and there'll be a lot of people giving a lot of good time to clean up our river in town. So.
And if he has hip waders, bring them.
Yeah. And if this is going on all over Medford, Faribault, Northfield, all the way up the Straight River and many rivers together. It's the watershed district is combined in all this turnout, so they have a lot of sponsors, and so if you got a chance, show up.
Thank you, Raymond. Nate?
Nothing to add.
Greg?
Everything's peaceful in the second word tonight.
Great. And Mr. Mayor?
It's always rewarding to see somebody from outside of our community see the great value of our community and put their heart and soul in and start a new business. So thank you very, very much for choosing Owatonna, and hope you're very successful in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, it's echoed by all of us. With that, Chris?
I just have some events to remind everyone about. On Thursday, September 19th is Owatonna Senior Center Day. Senior Place is having their 25th anniversary celebration in the multi-purpose room at Senior Place. Activities are going to be a social hour beginning at 4:30. Dinner will be served at 5:15, and a program begins at 6, so we would invite all folks to attend that. Saturday, September 21st is Lighting the Path. The State School Orphanage Museum Board will host this event here at West Hills. 7 p.m. will be the first annual Light the Path fundraiser for the Children Remembered Orphanage Legacy Trust. So they will have some special music, a luminary walk, and a lighting ceremony concluding at Cottage C11. And Harvey Ronglin will be providing a special evening tour after that walk. And on Sunday, September 22nd, the Primers Car Club show will be held in front of the City Administration Building from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So a lot of activities for everyone, and encourage you to attend. And that's it.
Thank you, Chris. And with that, wish everyone a happy fall, and look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Raymond to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.